Hello, Aries. Welcome to Dove and Serpent Tarot. My name is Paul. If Aries is your sun, moon, or rising sign, this is your tarot card reading. Remember to hit the like button, leave a comment, consider subscribing to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. If there is anything you would like me to pray over or meditate upon or send positive energy toward, please let me know. Now, this is a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger. And I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I provide. And remember, Aries, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. Queen of Cups. You're a very sensitive person. I think you are very deep. I think that you right now may be feeling like there's a lot of stuff from your past that you need to process. Maybe lately, you've been going through a lot more of these past events and past feelings and relationships and things that have really left their mark on you, things that have really affected you, okay? Because the Queen of Cups is all about processing the endings of something. So maybe there is a particular ending, right, that you are still processing. Yeah, we're looking at the past, we're feeling how we feel about those things, and you're learning how to let those things go. Because this card's just about to turn toward the future. But first, you have to let go of the past. You have to process these feelings. Okay? I always use this silly analogy of the queens of the tarot as like a group of ladies that are about to leave the movie theater. And they walk outside the movie theater, and the Queen of Cups is just so moved by that movie, right? So just deeply touched, whether it's in a very positive way or even in a negative way. Maybe it was a scary movie. Maybe it was a really lighthearted, rom-com kind of thing. But maybe it was the Minecraft movie. Very touched. And so it takes the Queen of Cups a long time to process all those feelings to be ready for the next movie. I'm not ready to go see another movie yet. I need some time, This is kind of a card that's saying we're peeling the Band-Aid off very slowly. Well, it could be that you're processing a very positive event, but we're still in that phase of processing it, okay? So we need some context around this card to see what that event might have been for you and, what the way forward is going to look like for you. Well, there's the Seven of Cups. Okay, that is the blockage that's facing you right now. We have the Star card underneath. We have 7 and 7. We have a 7 of Pentacles in the background. We have, not only do we have the Star, but we have the Starlight, all right, which is the High Priestess card. And you've got your Aries power card. Look at that. Your energy is being renewed. Okay, we ring the bell because this is your superpower card. This is the card that represents, in this case, a renewed version of yourself. We're getting through this swamp, and your energy is being renewed. You're trusting in the process. You're processing the ending. You're processing this event. Now, when we say process an ending, it's kind of processing something from the past. Okay, because the Queen is looking at the past, looking at the 7 of Pentacles, which is a failure. And that's just the name of the card, okay? We're processing that. You're going through the feelings, you're purifying yourself from these feelings, and you're going forward into your power. This is a renewal of your energy, okay? Over here, there's the wand. You're taking the wand, and you're feeling that spark of creation, that spark of inspiration. You have a Knight of Cups. See, the Knights going toward the future, while the Queens are processing the past. So this is you now with gusto, with fervor, with passion going into the future. You have your Libra energy, the adjustment card, which is balance, and that's your kind of, that's your higher wisdom and discernment. Okay. And you have your Prince of Pentacles at the end. That's very good. We have the past with the Queen, the future with the Knight, the present with the Prince. I like that. I think that's a very interesting combination of cards. We're going to select the mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. This is a random card from the Smith Waite Tarot. This is the factor infinite and unknown, and we're going to set it down right over here. No, we're not going to use Jimbo. Let's switch over to Dwight K. Schrute as the guardian of the mystery card. Beats Bears, Battlestar Galactica. We're not going to look at that card until the very end. It will tie everything together. It will give us the confirmation that we need at the end. If at any moment during this message you feel like you might know what that card might be, put your prediction in the comments down below, in the video comments, okay? Let's take a look around the room. We see some good majors, right? 1, 2, 3, 4 major arcana energies. You've got your fire. You got a lot of water. You don't have any air, but that's what we have here with the Libra energy. This is this is an air sign, an air card. So we have the air in a very interesting way. And of course we have our earth cards back here, and we have our earth card here. So this is telling me that you tried something, you made a mistake, it didn't work, it didn't pan out the way you wanted it to. This is a little f failure, not a big F. It's not I'm a failure. This is a little f failure. You fell down, or you got thrown down on the mat, either through a mistake that you made or through, let's say you're doing jujitsu. It's going to come with the territory. Sometimes you're going to lose. Sometimes you're going to win. Life is going to be a series of pluses and minuses. As long as the line goes up and to the right, we're okay. Some days you'll have a loss, some days you'll have a win. This was a loss. This was an event that took place in the physical realm that taught you something, okay? Taught you something. It was a learning experience. We can chalk it up to, I'm getting better, If you got thrown down on the mat, it taught you kind of what you did wrong. Yes, maybe the person you were rolling with was more powerful than you or more skilled than you or something, but it taught you something. You're able to get better. So you have the event from the past that has made you feel some type of way. And once we process those feelings, then you've got your builder energy at the very end. So we have earth and earth as bookends here. In the past position, there's the event, the so-called failure, right? But then in your future, your long-term future position, here you are back at it doing the work again. You're showing up the next day. You fell down on the mat or you got thrown down, you got back up. You have consistency. You have perseverance and endurance. This event isn't going to level you. It's not going to lay you low for the dirt nap. You're getting up again. You're getting your confidence and your power, and you're going back to work. You're going to do it again. Do it again, do it again, do it again, run it again. That's the idea with the builder here. This is somebody that shows up every day. This is someone who's consistent. This is you saying, whatever happened yesterday was yesterday. I dealt with yesterday, right? You're processing the feelings from yesterday. And this is saying today's a new day. You're back at work. This is a fresh day. It doesn't really matter what you did yesterday. Yesterday, this could be as easily as this was a 7 of Pentacles here. This could have just as easily been a 6 of Pentacles, a win. You got to win. You're going to have to process the feelings. You get your power, you use it to evolve and grow. Tomorrow, it's a reset. Tomorrow, you're right back at it. The builder energy is kind of like saying it doesn't matter what happened yesterday. What matters is who you are today, what energy you're bringing to the table today. Now, of course, we know the past does matter, right? Because you learned something from yesterday. But today, it's kind of like things reset to 0. Mystery card probably be the Fool, big fat 0, right? So I like this energy for you. I really do. As we deal with the main card here, the 7 of Cups, this is how you feel. And so the Queen is looking at the past, trying to process the ending. Right? How did that event move me? How do you feel about it? What's the blockage? And the blockage really is that we feel kind of terrible. That we had high hopes. You had high expectations. You thought you were gonna nail it. And so this card becomes a kind of like, almost like a, oof, I'm sick to my stomach kind of feeling. I feel kind of icky and kind of gross. But I think that this is your blockage right now, is to acknowledge how you feel and purify this energy. It's kind of like you're covered in this ectoplasm, this green slime. You just got to go take a shower, take a ritual shower, like cleanse yourself. And we're going to be right back at it tomorrow. But this is the emotional energy. And I don't think you were expecting to really feel this upset about, what happened. And now I don't know if this is a work thing, if this is a relationship, this is something at school, at home, if it's in the gym, if it's at jiu-jitsu, it's in your sports team or your musical ensemble or something. I don't know if it's friends. I don't know where this is taking place. But I know that things didn't pan out the way you wanted them to, and now you're feeling a little bit icky about it. It doesn't do you any good to ignore that. Okay? So I think you're learning something here about yourself. I think about how things really do affect you. Okay? You're this emperor energy, right? Who's supposed to be just very serious, very powerful, and doesn't feel feelings. You don't have emotions. They're a waste of time. Emotions aren't powerful. Well, they are. They're very powerful, especially if you ignore them. The more you ignore your feelings, the more powerful they will be in your life, and not in a way that's going to be good for you. So this is really you acknowledging how you feel, processing these feelings. And again, the Seven of Cups is kind of like, I'm accepting how I feel. The 7 is a number of love. This is a labor of love. This is something that you care about. You wanted it to work. And I think that you thought maybe that it would. You figured it would work, but it didn't. But the Venus energy in these cards, number 7 is always attached to Venus, right? The love you have for what you're doing is allowing you to feel how you feel. Now, if you didn't feel anything, then maybe you should worry, right? Because they kind of would say that you didn't really care. Oh, I lost. Who cares? No, you care. And you care deeply. You care greatly to the point where you're just like, oh, I need a couple days. Because that shows that it matters to you. You feel things deeply, and I think that it's maybe a kind of weird feeling. You're like maybe not used to feeling things this deeply. Okay? And I only say that because we have our very stoic kind of Libra energy in the position of the obstacle. I think you're somebody that usually, can usually just kind of deal with the emotions quickly and move on quickly and just kind of, see the logic behind it all. Like, okay, I know I learned a lesson here, and tomorrow I'm just going to go back and do a better job. It's easy. I don't think you expected to really feel so much, Spirit showing me a stack of books by your bed or something. I think this is something that's really, really, it's kind of consuming your life. Like this is something big for you, okay? Now, I'm hearing the town, I guess, of Edinburgh. I don't know if that's where you're from or you're visiting or you know people there, but something about that area for you, yeah. Anyway, the Seven of Cups is kind of a disappointment, It may be something that you were expecting to be much more delicious, and it was not delicious. Yeah. Sometimes this card is masquerading. I just invented a new word. Masquerading as something very pleasant. Masking, okay? So I wonder if you're usually, or even right now currently, trying to put on a happier face than you really are feeling. It's sometimes how we kind of smile and say, oh, I'm okay, I'm fine. Yeah, no big deal. When really it's like we feel just rotten and sour inside. So I think that's the obstacle for you with this card. Don't mask your feelings. At least not to yourself. It's okay if you put on a brave face for everybody else. But for you, feel how you feel. Okay? Masking arrayed. I like that. There's something there. Don't wear that mask to yourself. See your feelings for how they really are. Otherwise, we're trying to turn them into something they're not. You feel a bad feeling and you just kind of say, no, that's not the feeling. Don't try to convince yourself that you feel okay or that you feel good or that you're happy that things turned out this way or something like that, or I don't even care about it anyway, or, No, just really lift the veil. Feel how you feel. Well, that's part of what this card is too, lifting the veil. Emotional honesty. Radical emotional honesty here, so that you can admit, yeah, you know what? I feel terrible about this. I'm mad, I'm sad, whatever it is. Yeah. Now, there's a pebble or something. There's some kind of a stone you found on a Cornish beach. Yeah, and I don't know what that means or what that is, but I've been kind of being urged to tell you that. Some kind of a pebble from that beach. Yeah. Anyway. Lifting the veil of those feelings, not trying to mask them to ourselves. Again, it's okay to put on a brave face for everybody else, if that's your thing, but to feel how you feel so that you can process that experience. And not only are you learning something physically from that, kind of, okay, I made a mistake, you got thrown down on the mat. You learned a valuable skill, a valuable lesson, sure. You're also learning about yourself. You're also learning about your emotions and how to deal with them and how to care for yourself and how deep your feelings really are. And it might be something that's kind of new for you. Underneath the surface, you have the star. This is your sense of death. This is insight, for one thing. This is spirit showing you how you feel about things. See, the star does a few things in our energy. It's a card of insight. Insight, looking into something, right? So you're looking into your own emotions here, your own soul, and you're seeing, wow, some uncomfortable feelings. Well, that's what the star does. First phase of the star. The light comes in. If we allow the light in, we welcome it. It shows you your knots of karma, shows you your sore spots, your weak spots, your buttons, your triggers, your blockages. It shows you things like this, right? Emotional blockages, perhaps we could call them that, okay? Things you need to look at. As that light comes in, we get the insight. We're able to look in because it's illuminating. It's really showing us things that you don't always want to see. But if you let that light in and you acknowledge those things, that light, then you start to clear those blockages out a little bit, and that light will start to flow from you out into the world, and you become a radiant sun. You become the star. The sun is a star, but also that light spills out from you and starts to show you your yellow brick road to the Emerald City, your own unique path to Big Rock Candy Mountain. Okay? Shows you the way over the river and through the woods to grandmother's house you go. We have to embrace that energy. You have to let that light in and look at things that are uncomfortable in yourself. And that's exactly what you're seeing. That's Seven of Cups. And you're thinking, ew, I don't want to look at that. This is what Spirit wants you to look at. Because the star is trying to teach you, trying to remind you that you're a magic maker. That you are the magician. And that's why I'm kind of leaning into, looking at all of us in this community as the magic makers. I like the sound of that branding, the magic makers. Yeah. Somebody already owns the domain. Unfortunately, I tried to buy the domain name. Somebody already owns magicmakers.com, but anyway, that's what I feel like the tarot is trying to do for us, is to teach us all that we are the magician of the tarot. It's the fool becoming the magician. And that has to be done via the star. The star is God, goddess, deity, source, spirit, the universal consciousness, universal mind, your own soul and spirit, whatever you want to call it. It's that divine energy that, sends the light. This is the source of the light. This is the star. This is the starlight. Okay, this is the light that really is entering you and showing you the things that you need to see in order to evolve and grow and become your best self, become the best magician that you can be, so you can create your life. You can build the life you want. You can build your personality and your personal reality. You see. And so this is within you, and that's the process that's taking place. Also, this card is the destiny kind of card. So I feel like the reason why you care so much about this, the reason why you're so broken up about the mistake that was made or getting thrown down on the mat, the reason why you care so much is because you know deep down inside of you that this is what you're meant to do. I'm meant to do this. And then since you kind of got your butt kicked or you had a little failure or a mistake or an error was made or something, you feel the hit really, really deeply. Okay? If it wasn't your destiny, if it was something just kind of whatever frivolous, you wouldn't care as much. Okay? So it really hits you hard when things don't quite pan out exactly how we wanted them to in that event. This is not a full span of time. This is like, one day, one event, one interaction, one attempt, one round, one match, one tournament even. Maybe it was a week or a month or a year. It could be. But this is kind of one thing for you. And it doesn't mean that your journey was over. So it's not technically an ending, right? It's an ending of that day, right? You're processing that day that happened. It's like, the Queen of Cups is, kind of at night. This is you at home with your eyes closed, going to sleep at night. And you're kind of reviewing the day that you had. And you're thinking, oh, gosh. Okay? That's what Spirit's trying to show you so that you can grow and learn and get better at what you're doing and that you can get in touch with your own emotions and start to do that emotional work, clearing out those emotional things, those knots of karma, so that you can be a better magician. And of course, that leads us up here to the High Priestess, the intuition. This is literally that kind of like the starlight, the message coming to you that's showing you these things. And this is a card that requires we trust. If you believe that this is your destiny, you have to trust where Spirit is leading you. You're going through the briar patch with this. You're kind of, Spirit's dragging you through the swamp. In other words, the Spirit is showing you these emotions and telling you that you need to feel these. You feel these, process these, let them become the past, and move forward into your power. Tomorrow, you're stronger than you were today. Yeah. And so this is really about you trusting your intuition and believing in the process, having faith, hope, and trust in the process. And you know that whatever process you're in, if this is work, at home, at school, if this is a sport or a musical instrument, something you're learning, something you're studying, something you're working on, it doesn't matter what it is, you know that there are wins and losses. Like I said, this could very easily have been a 6 of Pentacles. Of course, this would be a 6 of Cups instead of a 7, right? So there are wins and losses. And we know that that's part of the process, right? Your trajectory is going up and to the right. It's going to be a series of ups and downs along the way. You have to trust in that process, believe in yourself, believe in the energy, believe that this is your destiny. Believe that this is what you are destined to go through and to do in your life. If this is, you're trying to learn guitar or something, you have to believe that you really belong there and have faith that, I'm learning guitar. Some days I'm going to feel like I really am bad at it. Some days you're going to feel like you just totally fail at guitar. If we don't acknowledge these feelings or you give them too much power by ignoring them perhaps, then eventually you're going to end up quitting the guitar and your life is going to not go up and to the right. It's going to go down and to the right, I guess. Because you'll end up walking away from something that you know is meant for you. So you're not giving up. Okay? You had a bad day. We're recovering from that, and you're going to move forward with power. That Emperor energy in the future position, the way forward for you, you're stepping into your superpower. Okay? You show me somebody who is a powerful person, and that's somebody that's been thrown down on the mat a lot. We take my wife and I, she does Ula tea leaf readings, right? We have a 5-year-old daughter who's been in jiu-jitsu for a couple of years. And her instructor is a black belt. Or the main coach is a black belt. And a couple of brown belts there too. And they're kind of the top dogs in the gym, right? They've lost so many matches in their life. They have been thrown down on the mat so often. But that's what has helped them to be the powerful people that they are. Not only in jiu-jitsu, but in other areas of their life too. Okay? It molds you and shapes you as a person. to go through these things. And so for you to have this Emperor energy, this is boss energy. For you to be the boss, you need to have the experience of a boss. You can't be just an armchair boss. You can't be a boss that just had, it's like Gorman and Aliens, right? It's never been on any, hasn't been on any actual drops, right? This is my first one. The rest has just been simulations. You know, that you have to really go through the mud to become, you know, this kind of an authority in your life and to be that powerful. This is what you're stepping into. It's an evolution of your energy. It's a re-stress. Kind of things get torn down a little bit here, and they get rebuilt stronger here. Yeah. Now, you've made like sourdough bread or something like that, or maybe, I don't know if you make kombucha. It's one of those things where like you kind of keep that bacteria thing, like the mother thing, in the jar. Right, so it's either you're making like sourdough starter, or it's like you're making like a vinegar. You have like a vinegar mother, or like a kombucha. I think it's called a mother, right? I'm seeing that. I don't know if why that's coming through, but that's for somebody out there. The Emperor energy is that authority. You're becoming that, and this is you getting stronger and stronger, stepping into your power through this process. Okay, this is not tearing you down necessarily. It's helping you to build up. It may feel like this is a bit of a tower event. Okay, but it's not. And of course, it feels that way, and no one's trying to diminish how it feels. But don't look at it like it's the ending of anything, like it is a tower event that something's been destroyed. Look at this as a challenge that I feel very deeply about. That it's an L, it's a little F failure, okay? But look at this as just a natural part of the process that's going to build you up into something more powerful as you step forward. But with the Queen processing that emotion, give yourself time to feel all of that. Don't linger too long to where you never get up and get back to the gym, or back to the practice studio, or back to work, or whatever it is. But don't rush through that process either, okay? Now, Path of the Serpent. We're going to talk about these cards. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do. The Ace of Wands is your general energy. This is that renewed vigor. It's like you're ending the night, processing the emotions of the day. You sleep. You wake up, you feel energized. This is waking up with like, this is your general energy. And this is a spark of fire. This is, I am a burning torch. And I'm ready for the day. You know, we're motivated. We're enthusiastic. We feel stronger than we did yesterday. And I feel that this is you inspired. This is you as the Emperor taking that, give me that wand. You're taking your wand and you are stepping back into this realm, into this work with passion, with fire, with focus. Yeah. So processing these emotions is not diminishing your motivation. It's not making you feel worse necessarily, maybe temporarily. You got to feel worse. But then once you've processed or integrated those feelings, you feel stronger. Whereas if you just ignore the feelings and push them aside, you're eventually going to be getting weaker and weaker and weaker. Okay? So I feel like you're waking up with this renewed energy and vigor. And you're even more focused. You know, in a way, you've sort of sublimated that Seven of Cups into power. You've integrated it and consolidated it. You transformed it, transmuted it into motivation. Inspiration. I'm even more focused than I was yesterday. Makes you even more hungry, you know? So I think this is really, really good. This is the result of this energy here. Now, in your environment, you have a Knight of Cups. And the Knight of Cups really is moving forward with passion. See, we have processing the ending, and now we have processing a beginning. Right? So it's kind of like, you know, your heart was a little bit hurt by this. Yeah. but you're still out there in the world and you're putting your heart out there again. Because you know what this is doing? It's not just making you a better jujitsu person or a better guitar player. It's making you more emotionally fortified. That you can take an emotional hit and you are just, you're fired up and you're ready and you're strong and you're putting your heart back out there again. Because you can handle it. And that's what's going to make you a real winner here. Not just trying to be, the best that you can be, not trying to be stronger, faster than everybody else, or just working harder. No, it's about you being more emotionally resilient. That you're able to process your emotions efficiently and, in theory, quickly, right? So that you can be vulnerable again. So this is a card, literally the heart is out here saying, here, my heart can handle it. I'm okay. Some people, they'll do something that they feel very strongly about. It won't work out so well on the first day. They'll be crushed emotionally and they'll never go back. That happens to a lot of people. But you're going through this emotional challenge and it's, whether it's the next morning or a week later or whatever, you're going back and you're saying, here I am again, give me your best shot. It's not preventing you from giving yourself to this thing. Right? This is your soul as an offering, saying, I'm here and I'm putting it all out there again. And putting it out there again, we're vulnerable. You could get another loss, or you could get a win. But you know that either way, you're doing the right thing and your trajectory is heading in the right direction. Because you're that boss energy, you're that emperor, And so I think this is very, very good. It shows you're back out there, you're putting yourself out there again, you're being vulnerable still. Knowing full well that I really don't want another 7. And if it happens, it happens. You're resilient. You know yourself, you're strong enough that you can put your heart out there and we're going to work hard to get the very best that we can. We know that, maybe you're going to get another 7 of Pentacles at some point. Hopefully not anytime soon. But the difficult position for you is the adjustment card. One, I think it's restoring the balance as quickly as possible. You don't want to be so heavily in this quicksand energy that it takes you a long time to recover to restore the balance. So that's one thing. The other thing about this card is that I don't think you're really used to feeling the feeling so deeply. So maybe this time it feels like it's taking you longer to get out of it. Because this is a card that's kind of like saying you're usually pretty stoic, that things don't usually hit you so hard. But now it's kind of like now we're feeling things more than we're used to feeling them. The adjustment card here is, well, perhaps just that. How are we adjusting to this, to our feelings about this event and this life and this work that you're doing, whatever it is. At work, at home, at school, maybe you're a teenager, maybe you're retired, it doesn't matter. How are you adjusting? How are you adapting? How are you restoring your internal balance when you get the wins and losses and ups and downs? I think this card is also reminding you, and this is something that may be hard for you to admit or acknowledge, that there will be a series, that there are ups and downs, but things kind of even out in the end, That as long as you're making the right kind of trajectory in your life, the ups and downs in the day-to-day don't really matter. Okay, there's kind of par for the course. I think you are someone who is usually quite stoic. And I think maybe you grew up in a way where your emotions weren't encouraged, where you were told to kind of, stop crying, dry your tears, buck up, get strong, because maybe you were taught that, emotions were a sign of weakness. And so we're kind of looking at the emperor in that way, right? Because the emperor, the shadow side of the emperor is someone who's just harsh and rigid and strict and has no feelings, can't enjoy anything, isn't moved by anything. A rock solid, right? And maybe that's how we grew up. Maybe we were taught that by our parents. That strength means no emotions. Emotions are weakness and all that blah, blah, blah. And so I think that this is a little bit of, you're kind of learning that, no, I don't have to just be an unfeeling, stoic kind of emperor. I can be an emperor that has a depth to them, you know? And I think that might be a bit of a challenge. That's why this card's in your fear, worry, and concerns position. The final outcome here is the builder. You're building something. You are continuing to do this work and build yourself and build your reality. Even if, we have a bad day, we have a challenge, you're still returning to that job site, and you're putting in the work, and this thing is building. This thing is coming together. So if you get the losses and, you get a kind of the down day, you get a little F failure, that's not the end of the road for you. You don't just stop showing up. Had a bad day at work, you don't just stop going in. You go in again tomorrow and you say, I'm going to make today matter. I'm going to make today count. It's kind of like the energy resets on the new day. I think for the 24-hour periods for human beings is very powerful, very important. So in a way, we're not trying to do better than we did yesterday. You're trying to do the very best that you can today. I don't care what happened yesterday. You want to make today a win. You want to make today the best that you can make it. Not in comparison to yesterday, because if yesterday was the Seven of Pentacles, if today is just decent, it'll be a win, right? So you don't want today to be necessarily to be a reaction to yesterday. But I think that this is important for you to continue showing up and continue doing this and knowing that every day you show up, you're building this thing up better and better and better. Okay? That there is a continuity to it. But we're trying not to be so attached to yesterday that it affects today. You're just trying to take today on its own terms. Today is today. You're going to do the best that you can today. Okay? And I think this is a card that's focused on the present. Yeah, just as our queens are the past, our knights are the future, the princes are the present. And so this is you showing up and doing the very best that you can do right now, here, today, and knowing that if I do the best that I can today, the line's going to go up and to the right. Yeah. Let's look at our mystery card. I want this to be that big rock candy mountain. I want this to be either the Princess of Pentacles, I want it to be the Empress, or the Universe card. If you have a prediction, put it in the comments down below. Let's take a look. It's an Ace of Swords. All right, we'll take the Ace of Swords because this is your clarity. This is a kind of divine clarity that's cutting through the swampy energy of your emotions. This is allowing you to really see things for what they are and to not get clouded or to not sink into those emotions and get lost in there. But it's also not a 2, a 3, a 4, a 5, and blah, blah, blah of swords. It's a pure mental energy. So you're able to kind of very openly and almost objectively, I guess, but very openly and with great acceptance. That's it. Accepting, right, what you're feeling, accepting what Spirit is showing you, what the High Priestess is showing you, trusting in this, and having the sort of mental clarity, the sober-mindedness to get through this swampy water energy. You're able to sort of cut through it and get to your Emperor energy. Instead of, some people will get lost here. Some people will get stuck, will sink down into this quicksand. But you've got your clarity, you've got your objective, you've got your mind very, very sharp, right? So that you're able to get through this as quickly as possible. Okay, it's kind of like it's very hydrodynamic here. It's able to go through the water. It's kind of like a submarine, able to go through that water very quickly without a lot of resistance. Okay, so I think this is part of that mental fortitude, or even just the psychic fortitude, that's allowing you to process your emotions quickly and effectively and efficiently, and to continue doing this good work that you're doing, to build up your life, build up yourself. And in a way, this is even forgiveness, right? This might be you forgiving yourself for the mistake that you made. Maybe this is a form of guilt. And this is saying, I recognize that this is par for the course. You recognize that this is the way, things are going to happen. There's going to be ups and downs, wins and losses. So this is you forgiving yourself, or really realizing that there's nothing to forgive. So this is that true clarity. Yeah. And this is the way forward for you. We're going to do an extended reading as well. If you want to stick around, we'll do an I Ching hexagram. We'll do some oracle cards. There is a link in the corner, and there's a link down below. New readings for Aries Wednesdays and Sundays. Be sure to watch both readings. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. Leave a comment and let me know where in the world you are watching from. I want you to know that you're the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot. I thank you and I love you. And we are all in this together.